Welcome back, investors, to Ticker Time News. I'm Adam, and we could be on the verge of a very wild week on our hands with, well, the market, the way it acted on Friday, or we could say overreacted on Friday. So here we are with the Catalyst Watch video. Remember, it drops every Sunday evening, so make sure you are subscribed to get the right information at the right time to make the best investment decisions. Okay, I usually start off the video holding myself accountable for last week's Catalyst Watch video. It's very important to me because it's a way to build trust with you. Since the analytics say most people skip over it anyway, I'm going to move that segment to the end of the video from now on, so we can jump right into the catalyst for this week. So just keep that on your mind. I'm not getting rid of that segment. I'm just moving it to the end of the show. Okay, so let's move right into this week's catalyst. Investors will be coming back from an extended holiday weekend looking to determine if the market sell-off due to a new COVID variant was an overreaction, or is the pandemic recovery timeline being pushed back. The selling pressure was not limited to only travel and leisure stocks. It also hit many other sectors like electric vehicles and cryptocurrencies. It also moved the market to a risk-off position, meaning people were taking defensive stances. And that meant that growth companies got hurt extra hard. Right now, stock market futures are moving higher, which is a good sign, but not a guarantee that the stock market will open in the green tomorrow. Right now, the three major indices are all up between 0.5% and 0.8%. Looking at the markets that are already open and actively trading, like the Asia Pacific stocks, their stock markets have dropped as investors worry over the Omicron variant of COVID. It will also be a busy week with a key OPEC meeting on the calendar, as the oil price has already rebounded 4% to over $70 a barrel right now. And it declined big on Friday. So that's a big bounce and rebound in oil. Also, November jobs report is due out on Friday. That always moves the market. Online retail will be watched closely this week, as an early reports should start arriving for Black Friday to Cyber Monday sales. Right now, the estimates are a bit mixed. We have some saying that we came in just shy or right at the bottom of estimates. Some saying we did a little better. So the results right now, the early indicators are that it was a mix on the shopping. So it looks like it's going to come in a little bit lower than expected, but we have to wait and see for more clarity on that. But the companies that we should be watching, if especially online sales have grown or are up, is Shopify, ticker symbol SHOP, Etsy, ticker symbol Etsy, ETSY, Wayfair, ticker symbol W, Wayfair, ticker symbol W, and Yeti Holdings, ticker symbol Yeti, YETI. There's some of the stocks that are being set apart by many analysts as potential winners. Right now, the bounce is on in the crypto market. Here, let me go to TradingView and show you Ethereum, but I'm going to pull Bitcoin up here first, and we're going to look at Bitcoin. BTC USD on TradingView. And then you have a couple of options for you where you want to get your data from. There's a link in the description for a TradingView account, totally free. Now, here's Bitcoin. It bounced. It finally got a really solid bounce here, right off the $53,550 mark. That's where it bounced, right off of this trend line here. It is beautiful. Now, when I say the bounce is on for crypto, I'm mainly talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum, but other cryptos are up as well. Bitcoin is up over 7% in the last 24 hours. Ethereum is up almost 9% in the last 24 hours. The two biggest cryptocurrencies need to keep running with momentum to break back above their own 200-day moving averages. Right now, to do this, Ethereum, it would need to break 43.93. And let's just pull up Ethereum right quick, ETHUSD on TradingView. And then I use Coinbase for the data. Now, we need 43.93 for Ethereum. We are at 43.15 right now. So it's looking good. I just made a dumb mistake. I meant the 50-day moving average for Ethereum. What a dum-dum I am. Okay, and Ethereum is above the 50-day moving average. Let me take a deep breath. Let me slow down a moment. The nerves for me, every time I start a live stream, if you watch regularly, you know I always say the nerves get me at the beginning. They always do. Today is no exception. Okay, so the 50-day moving average, Ethereum is right now above it. It has bounced above it. That is wonderful. Now, let's go back to Bitcoin here. BTCUSD on the chart. Did I type that in wrong? I did type that in wrong. I do need to slow down. BTCUSD. Okay, here we go. The nerves are being shaken out right now. The nerves are gone. 50-day moving average is what I mean. Now, for Bitcoin, the gap up is a little bit bigger than Ethereum. Bitcoin, to get to that 50-day moving average, it needs to get to $60,860 right now, and it's at $57,384 right at that moment. Now, it is also in this very nice falling wedge pattern, and that is quite interesting. It could suggest that when it does break above this 50-day moving average or break out of this falling wedge, that it could move quicker than we might anticipate. So it's something to keep on your radar there. Bitcoin, again, is at 57,393 now. It needs to get to 60,800 and call it $20 right this second. Since it's moved up, the 50-day moving average has also moved up just a little bit. So that's where it needs to get to really feel like the bulls are back in charge for Bitcoin and Ethereum, now above its 50-day moving average, as we just saw, provides a lot of confidence, okay? Because that 50-day moving average is very important. And in every live stream, every day the market is open at 5 p.m., I do the after-hour show. I mention the 50-day moving average in every single live stream. When you are below the 50-day moving average, that is a negative or bearish sign. When you are above the 50-day moving average, that is a positive or bullish sign. All right, now that I got that out of the way, let's move on to Monday, November 29th. And we've got Amazon, ticker symbol AMZN for Amazon there. Let the chart load so we can look at this together. This is, by the way, the one-day chart. So every candle represents 1 day. So here's the past few months here since about June. And there has been a range that Amazon has been in with a low of 33.06, a high of 35.33. It has fallen back into that place. On Friday, it dropped down 2.1%, and it's holding right at its 21-day moving average. So it's back in that range, but it's got a nice place to hold there. Now, the reason I bring up Amazon is not specifically for Amazon entirely. So Amazon is hosting a 4-day AWS reInvent event, which begins with new AWS product services, and it will be the main feature. However, a number of other companies also showcase their product services or platforms at Amazon's annual learning conference. Of note, when other companies showcase their goods, like Datadog did last year, their share price bounced from their reInvent appearance. So that is something to keep in mind. All right, options trading. It spiked higher last week on blockchain companies like HIVE Blockchain Technologies, ticker symbol HIVE. Full transparency, I do own shares in HIVE. I also hold shares in Hut 8 Mining for the mining community there. Now, the reason options have been put on the mining blockchain companies is because the direction that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies have been moving, which is down. They've been in a downtrend now for over a week. And these stocks have also been in a downtrend. But investors in the options market, they believe that once Bitcoin makes its rebound and it starts moving up, that these stocks, HIVE in particular, will also move up. Now, even though HIVE has fallen for over a week, it is still above its 50-day moving average, which still puts it in a positive position. So we could see it bounce, since Bitcoin and Ethereum are bouncing right now. And that is exactly what the option market is predicting. So they're betting that they're going to go up as Bitcoin goes up as well. Also, Canoe, ticker symbol EVGO. I've gotten a lot of requests to talk about this one. Sorry, typing in the wrong thing. EVGO is the ticker symbol, and they've been on fire this last week. They were up 22%, and they could have a little charge left in the battery. This stock right now reminds me of the phrase, the trend is your friend until it's not. That's right. There's a second part to that phrase. So be careful, as its RSI has been over 70 for the past 5 trading sessions. And 70 and above is overbought territory. So keep that in mind. It's a bit extended at this moment in time. Now, I have to mention another company. The ticker symbol is LGVN. Now, I have a hard time pronouncing this company's name, but it has been a very wild mover. Ticker symbol again, LGVN. We talked about it on Friday's live stream. It's up over 1,433% last week on a short squeeze. This is a real short squeeze that you're seeing. Can it continue? I don't know, but I will be watching for a quick in and out day trade on this particular stock right here. So if you're planning to trade it, just be careful. It can fall just as quickly as it has run up. All right, next up, we have Anaplan. Ticker symbol is Plan, PLAN. Let that load for you. Now, this is a company one of our awesome Patreon members sent me that could be a nice buy the dip trade setup on an oversold stock that dropped on an overreaction to earnings. So keep your eye on this one. It bounced down here at the $40 level and it is still way oversold. The RSI right now, 14.62. 14.62. 30 and below is oversold. So this thing is really oversold. That's why it could have a really nice bounce. It's at 43.12 right this second. So it bounced off that $40 level. It's up, about $3 from that bounce. But it could continue and go to this range of between about $45 and $50 pretty easily, I think, because there's also support between those two areas. 45 would be the next strong support level. So this thing has room to move. So I would be watching this one very carefully. Now, if you'd like to get trade setups, my buy-sell signals, advanced analysis, trade ideas, and much more, then click the first link in the description below and become a Patreon member today. We'd love to see you there. Next, we need to watch out for HYLN. We haven't talked about that in a while. HYLN is HYLN's ticker symbol. But the reason I'm bringing them up for this week is because HYLN, it has high short interest right now, which means it could move pretty quickly if it gets squeezed. Now, it is in a defined downtrend. It is well below its 200-day moving average, its 50-day moving average, and its 21-day moving average. So it is way down there. But the RSI right at this moment is sitting at 29.48. So it's just right on the line of being oversold. If this thing fell a little bit more, then maybe we could start seeing a short squeeze effect on HYLN. So it's one to keep on your radar for a short squeeze. All right, next up is now China stocks. They're a bit on shaky footing, and I don't typically talk about China stocks, but Li Auto, ticker symbol LI, does report their earnings on Monday morning. Li Auto, as the chart loads there so you can see it. Now, this usually doesn't happen, but I'm getting conflicting data on estimated earnings with estimated EPS between a range of a loss of 3 cents to a gain of 1 penny, and revenue between 1.1 billion to 7.2 billion. That's a pretty big spread. Now, Li Auto has already reported October deliveries, and November deliveries should be reported this week as well. Now, their October deliveries increased 107.2% year over year, which is nice growth for Li Auto. On the chart, Li is also flirting with a symmetrical triangle setup, so it's worth watching, but honestly, I'm not expecting much. How you doing, Mario? Glad to see you join us. All right, let's move on to Tuesday, November 30th. And we've got BioMartin. The ticker symbol is BMRN. BioMartin Pharmaceutical. It's holding a virtual R&D day. Shares of BioMartin jumped 7% in the week following the company's last R&D event. 18 out of 21 research firms covering BioMartin have a buy equivalent rating or higher on the stock. However, it's worth noting that BioMartin jumped 29% after earnings towards the end of October, but it has fallen 7.2% in the last week. So keep that on your radar as well. With the R&D, they could announce some cool things. Okay, we do get a few earnings on Tuesday. Salesforce, for one. Ticker symbol is CRM for Salesforce. Now, they have an estimated EPS of 92 cents and revenue of $6.8 billion. Now, CRM has a nice run up in October. You can see it on the chart there, but it has reversed course and is now in a downtrend for November. But the interesting thing is the options market has CRM making a 7% move off earnings, either way, up or down. So going into Salesforce's earnings using the PEG trading strategy would be a wise move. Now, remember, PEG stands for Power Earnings Gap, and it's a trading strategy you use on earnings with expected big moves, like this 7% move that's expected in Salesforce. Now, one thing to point out though, just because the options market is predicting this type of move doesn't necessarily mean it could come true. For example, a couple weeks ago, the options market, they predicted, or they were expecting, a 14% move on Lucid Motors off of their earnings. Well, Lucid Motors did move, not 14%, but they moved 20+% on their earnings to the upside. So it's not always spot on, but it is another data point to take into account when you're building your either investment thesis or your trading strategy. Okay, another company that is on deck for earnings is Zscaler, which is, ticker symbol is ZS. How you doing, Devin? Glad to see you. All right, Zscaler, ZS as a ticker symbol. The chart looks beautiful, doesn't it? Up and to the right. We love to see that. Now, it's a stock that has been moving really well this year. Right now, it's sitting on its 50-day moving average and towards the bottom of its ascending trading channel with an RSI number of 41.86. So it could bounce if earnings are above estimates and guidance shows strong growth. Now, the EPS estimation is 12 cents a share and revenue of $212.3 million. Now, it is worth noting that Zscaler did reschedule its earnings for a later date due to, quote, peer schedule. So, just something to throw out there. There is data that suggests if a company moves earnings one way or another, it could affect their earnings. But the data set was kind of small, so I don't put a lot into it. I guess is what I'm saying. I would rather put this into it. It is sitting on the bottom of its trading channel. It is sitting well above its 50-day moving average. It is sitting just slightly under its 21-day moving average. Those are all positives, okay? I would rather look at that than the fact that they moved it based off of maybe peer scheduling, as they said. All right, moving on though. The next one is Box, and the ticker symbol is Box, B-O-X. Now, Box is they provide an enterprise content management type platform. Also has options. The option market is also pointing to a 7% move, just like Salesforce. However, its stock has been relatively flat for several months and range bound. The latest news from Box was an announcement that Panasonic Information Systems has adopted Box for simple and secure content cloud management and for collaboration with its expanding ecosystem. Now, Box has an estimated EPS of 21 cents and revenue of $218.6 million, with the options market expecting a 7% move either way again. Using the PEG trading strategy would also be advised. Again, not financial advice. just some friendly, I don't know, would it be edutainment for education and entertainment combined? I don't know. Think about that new word. I heard it from Invest Answers on his YouTube channel. Pretty cool. Okay, moving on now to another company that has earnings, and this is Jenker Solar. Ticker symbol is JKS is their ticker symbol. Now, they've been all over the place on the stock chart. They have big moves up, big moves down. Now, the reason I'm bringing them up, their earnings. The report in the options market, they're implying, get this one, a 10% move either way. So the options market is betting on a 10% move. Now, JKS is currently at the bottom of its trend line, and that's an upward ascending trend line. RSI right now is 44.78. So it's not overbought, it's not oversold, it's just happily down there in the middle, enjoying itself. So we have a few data points to look at here. Most other solar companies had a brilliant run up in October, but has stalled or turned down in November. JKS's latest news being an announcement that it has launched a new series of ultra efficient 2021 flagship solar panels. Now, remember, in the solar industry, okay, you've got a couple of different categories, or you could call them sub. I just lost it. Live streaming, bloopers, parts where you wish you could just delete with the snap of a finger. Anyways, in the solar market, you have solar manufacturers, you have people who are providing the parts to the manufacturers, you have people who are focused on inverters and batteries, like Enphase, for example. So you have a wide variety of companies doing different things within the solar market. Some do better than others. Solar manufacturing has a lower margin than, say, someone who is creating inverters and batteries. So they can't absorb higher inflation, higher input cost, or raising interest rates. They just can't. They don't have the margins to do it. So that should be taken into account when you're thinking about trading a stock like this. It is down. It's on that bottom trend line. It's on that 50-day moving average. If earnings, if they pull off a win, then this one could definitely move. But we have to watch and be careful about what they do say in their earnings report, especially guidance. That's right. Okay, moving on to another one, Barnes and Noble Education. The ticker symbol is BNED, Barnes and Noble Education. Now, they also have earnings, and they have been performing pretty well this year, with the stock price up over 100% year to date. The option market implies a 10% move either way for Barnes and Noble Education. Now, they have a recent history of earnings day pops where they just shoot up in price. Look at this earnings back here. I'm going to put a vertical line on the screen right there. You can see when they came out on their earnings, a big pop up, right? Okay. Over here, however, we had a miss on earnings, and it was a big pop down. I'm going to go back one more here for you. We had an earnings right here where they missed, but they projected good guidance, and they popped up. So this stock moves on earnings. So playing the peg power earnings gap strategy is a brilliant strategy to use for a company like this. Now, look at this. They bounced off their 200-day moving average right here. The candle doesn't go down to it, but the candle wick does. The candle settled inside of this symmetrical triangle. So I'm seeing this as a very positive sign. Now, it is below its 50-day moving average, which, as we know, that's a negative or bearish sign. However, I do believe this company is moving up and it's getting ready for a pop on earnings. Now, I do get conflicting data on earnings estimates. So the EPS is estimated between 58 cents to 82 cents a share on revenue of about 660 million. Now, with the symmetrical triangle on the chart setup, it is worth a look for sure, especially when they announce earnings. Right now, RSI is sitting at 35.17. So it's not quite oversold, but it's down there really close to it. So if this one's going to have a pop on earnings, if they beat, I do believe the options market will be correct with that 10% move, maybe even more, spread out over a couple of days, just like earnings last time, or it was spread out over 3 days before it started to fall. And let me just measure that there for you. So earnings right here, we go to the night before, which is right on the 50-day moving average. And we're going to run up to the top. It was actually 4 green days in a row right there. And that was a 29.5%, 29.5% move over 4 days because of good earnings. All right, so we've got this one now to watch, ticker symbol BNED. All right, moving on to Wednesday, December 1st. So I should mention that November 30th, Tuesday, it is the last trading day of November. So sometimes we get extra selling pressure at the end of the month as hedge funds and the bigger funds, they're selling and trading the stocks to make their, I don't know, to make it look like they were doing something for the month for their clients. I honestly don't know exactly how it works. I just know that end of the month can sometimes have added selling pressure because of that fact. Okay, moving on now, onto something I know a little bit better, and that's Wednesday, December 1st, the first trading day of the last month of the year. Will we get a Santa rally? We had one last year in December. Could we get a Santa rally in December of this year? Well, first up on Wednesday, December 1st, we have Snowflake, ticker symbol SNOW, SNOW. Now, this thing was down under $300 when I bought in, and it has just been a solid mover. Except we have to talk about right here on the 19th of November. Sorry, the 22nd of November. Let me get my cursor lined up. The 22nd of November, this thing dropped almost 10% in a day. It fell out of its trading channel, but it did bounce on its 50-day moving average, which was a solid bounce for sure. Now, if we go back and look at the beginning of this trading channel, just above my head here is July 6th. That's when this thing started moving in this particular trading channel, and that was down about $237. So as you can see, this thing has been moving in the second half of this year. It had a nice pop right here in the month of May, really nice pop. And it got down, before it started this pop, it was down around $186. So this thing has been moving this year. But if we look here, remember the Santa rally last year, right? Well, this thing peaked in December, the 1st of December, and then it fell off. While everybody else was in the Santa rally, Snowflake, right? Snow in December, it did not enjoy that Santa rally, but it has kicked into gear in the second half of this year, and it's been a really nice runner. Now, for Snowflake, I believe Snowflake's near-term price may be priced in already. That was my initial investment thesis, okay? But then this drop on the 22nd, that changed my investment thesis on the short term, right? So this is an example. We all have investment thesis on the different companies that we've researched, that we're invested in, that we're trading, to understand what the stock does, the company does, what their potential growth is, their growth rates, their TAM, total addressable market, all of it, right? Well, when it was up here, when it broke out of its trading channel and it was up here at $400, I figured, okay, earnings are already priced in at this point. But now that it's dropped nearly $40 from that $400 high there, I'm not sure if earnings are quite priced in. I think it's really close, though, to being priced in. Now, earnings estimated EPS is a loss of 6 cents on revenue of 306 million. Now, on the chart, I do believe the prices for those earnings results may be priced in at this point. They definitely were at $400, but down at 362, maybe they are priced in at this point, or maybe it's borderline. I'm not quite sure. I'm kind of leaning on this one. I do like the point that it did bounce off its 50-day moving average. So just a single data point here with the technical analysis, we've really got to watch the earnings. Another thing to point out, the relative strength index is down right now, even though the price has risen for 3 days or 3 trading sessions. The RSI is at 42.22. So it's not oversold yet, but it is a lower number. Remember, you got to get to 70 or above to be oversold. I'm sorry, overbought. Please excuse me. 70 and above, overbought. 30 and below, oversold. All right. Just want to clarify what I'm saying here, because my words matter. And it's a lot of weight. I want to make sure I do say the right thing. Okay, so Snowflake has some potential, but it may be priced in. So we could have the target effect that I keep saying, where target was on a nice trajectory. It was up and to the right on the chart. It had wonderful earnings, wonderful guidance, but the stock sold off. I keep beating myself up for missing that one. All right, let's move on to CrowdStrike. Ticker symbol is CRWD. And I didn't even type in the right one. CRWD. There we go. CrowdStrike Holdings. All right. Last week in the sell-off, CrowdStrike fell below its 200-day moving average. You can see on the chart all the way down here. Big selling for it. A lot of selling pressure. So on the short-term horizon, I'm a little skeptical. On the long-term horizon, though, CrowdStrike, I believe, has a superior cloud-native technology that has significant network effects, driving sustainable competitive advantages, along with a large and expanding total addressable market, or TAM. CrowdStrike's multiple drivers to sustain higher rates of growth and its significant operating margin expansion over the next several years should put CrowdStrike on the top of the list, again, for the long-term view. Short-term, I'm a little nervous with this sell-off and it falling below the 200-day moving average. It could be that it's just not going to have a good effect. So on this one, I would lean towards, let's forget CrowdStrike for this earnings. Will it be a red day tomorrow? That's a good question. I'm struggling with that one. At the beginning of the live stream, I did talk about expectations for tomorrow. I think it could be a red day. The futures market, the last time I checked, was green for all three indices. And they were up between 5%, 0.5% and 0.8%. So that's positive. But when you look at markets that are already open and already actively trading, they're red, like in the Asian Pacific area. Those markets are down. So just because our futures are green the last time I checked doesn't necessarily mean the market will open green. So I am conflicted with what tomorrow will bring. On Friday, remember, it was light volume. And whenever you have light volume, you can have bigger sways, bigger movements in the market on lower volume, because it only takes one or two, big sells to push something down, or one or two big buys to push something up, because you don't have the other side doing the opposite. So low volume, you can have bigger swings. Tomorrow, we should have a full volume, a full day of trading, but I am conflicted on what's going to happen tomorrow. With the overreaction, I do believe Friday was an overreaction for the market. I'm not sure if the market is going to say, oh, it was an overreaction on Friday, let's buy the dip. Since we've gotten more news, though, about the new variant being in different countries and potentially already being in the US, maybe that provides fear for the market to continue to sell off. I don't know. I'm very conflicted about it. So I'll leave it at that. I'm very conflicted. I'm very cautious about tomorrow. I'm not very optimistic. I will say that. But man, it's a hard divide on what might transpire tomorrow. With some of the falls, like CrowdStrike, I mean, that's a pretty significant fall for them. Will people think that, oh, this is a buy the dip opportunity, we're going to rally into the rest of the year? Now, I do believe, regardless of whether tomorrow is up or down, that we are still in a bull market. I would not want to bet against this market at this point. It is still strong. It is still kicking into gear, even though it was down on Friday. If you look at the S&P 500, I mean, it is well above its 50-day moving average up here. Even with Friday's 2.27% drop, it's still above that 50-day moving average. And all year long, including December of last year, because December of last year is when we had the really big rally that pushed the S&P 500 up above that 50-day moving average. It has used the 50-day moving average as support all the way, all the way, all the way up and to the right on the chart until September of this year, where it briefly went down under it. And then in October, back above it. Big push. So it is still in a positive and a bullish structure. And I am optimistic that the market will continue to rally. But I am conflicted on what tomorrow will be. So I hope that helps to clarify and answer your question to the best of my ability for what's going on right this second. Okay, there is another company I want to talk about, and that's Splunk. They had Splunk went kablunk. They had a little problem. Ticker symbol is SPLK for Splunk. Now, they had some drama with their CEO abruptly departing the company, making the stock tank over 18% on the news, and then continued to fall another 11%. This put the stock in an interesting position. Although, and let me just come in here a little tighter on this. Although, on the flip side of the same coin, the CEO unexpectedly stepping down and the share price falling shows a sign that maybe investors have lost confidence in the company. And that could be a negative for the company going forward until it can restructure. Now, Splunk tried to counter the negative news by releasing certain preliminary Q3 results, including cloud ARR growth of about 75% year over year, total ARR growth of about 37% year over year, and total revenue growth of about 19% year over year. So they did release that information to try to counter the negative news of the CEO leaving all of a sudden. Now, Splunk has an estimated EPS at a loss of 53 cents and revenue of $646.5 million. So if you believe in Splunk's growth story, then Splunk is on sale with a 45% discount from all-time highs. I'm not sure that I feel that confident about its growth story at this particular moment in time. But the RSI, it's at 19.38. It is really oversold. So that's something to consider here, looking at the chart and looking how far it has fallen, how far it's fallen. It was in a nice ascending trading channel with defined bottom, defined top, and it was moving. But the CEO stepping down, I don't know. The earnings are going to have to be pretty darn good for, I don't know, for the stock to move any significant way, one way or another. If we go back and look at past earnings, I'll put a vertical line here. Their last earnings report right here. They had run up to earnings. So earnings was pretty much priced in at their last earnings. So they traded sideways, had a small rally, and then they slowly bled down. Now, the earnings prior, let me put a vertical line here right over my head. I'll move it over a little bit. This was right at the bottom of a downtrend they were in, and they missed on earnings, and the stock fell. But this was its low back in June, and it turned things around from there and was able to climb. Now, this low back here in June, let's see if I can get on the right candle. it was a low of $111. So just keep that in mind. This might look like a pretty significant rally, but it's $111. Right now, it's at $124. So not a big difference if you bought in at that point. But it did get up to a high of $172 a share. So it's got the potential. The whole executive shakeup, though, has got to come into your investment thesis. Devin, we've heard the latest variant may not be as bad as originally feared. That is true. That gives me a little hope for a green day and the continuation of the species. I suppose. Good one, Devin. Yeah, on Friday, we all just needed to take a deep breath on Friday because we really didn't know what was happening. So that's why I say Friday was an overreaction, which means that tomorrow could be a buy the dip opportunity. But I am a little cautious because remember, whenever the market reacts, the market always overreacts. So I don't know. Just keep that in mind. Well, that's all the companies that I'm watching this week. What catalyst are you watching for this week? Let me know in the comments. I would love to read those. And remember, your comments, just like the ones that you've already made, make these videos so much better. So don't be scared or afraid to share your ideas. We're all here together in this nice investing community. I love it. Okay, it's time to hold myself accountable for last week's Catalyst Watch video. Now, I said at the beginning of the video, I was going to move it to the end because some people were skipping over that part. But to me, it's very important. It's just as important as the information that I've already talked about in this video. And that's because this is a way for me to build trust with you. If I make a call and it's good, great. If I make a call and it's a miss, if I get it wrong, then I need to be held accountable. And that's why I do this. I want to be transparent, I want to be honest, and I want to be held accountable. First up is Zoom video. I said that I thought Zoom may have a little something left in the tank, and you could have made a day trade on it and made maybe 8 to 9% if you bought at the bottom of the dip on the day of earnings and then sold on its pop in after hours. Now, Zoom did fall after that. It popped up about 9% or so, and then it came right back down. However, if you bought Zoom and held it from the dip of the day of earnings through the end of the week, you would have been up 14%. Because of the big scare on Friday with the variant and little information, well, stay-at-home stocks started to pop, like Zoom and Peloton. All right, next up was Urban Outfitters, ticker symbol URBN, and Best Buy, ticker symbol BBY, are two stocks that I did warn their earnings were already priced in, just like Target the week before. Urban Outfitters fell 15%. Best Buy dropped 17% on earnings day alone. On Dick's Sporting Goods, I said that I liked this one. I was bullish about this one, but I thought that it was at the top of its trading channel and the RSI was a little high. Dick's Sporting Goods, ticker symbol DKS, slid 6.4% after earnings. So I was wrong on that one. I didn't think it would fall 6.4%. So hold me accountable. I also said this would be a good buy and hold for the long term, and I still believe that on Dick's Sporting Goods. I also mentioned their dividend, and it's something that you have to take into account, especially for your investment thesis on the company. Now, the prior quarter, they released a special dividend of $5.50. They didn't do that this time. I thought there was a possibility that they would. So I got that wrong. So on Dick's Sporting Goods, ticker symbol DKS, I got two things wrong. And I'll admit it and be open about it. I'm not always right. I am human, but I try my best, just like all of us. Okay, Nano Dimensions, ticker symbol NNDM. I get requests for that one quite frequently. That was the big winner last week. It jumped 15% on earnings. And Deere, which I said I was bullish on, but I was concerned about them missing on revenue due to the labor strike. Well, Deere popped 7% on earnings, and it did miss on its revenue, like I said it would. It did beat on EPS, like I said it would. And investors were looking at the future, and they ignored the bottom line miss. So that was good for Deere. All right. I believe that was everything to hold me accountable for. If I did miss something, let me know in the comments. It's all good. It's all good. You can call me out if I did mess up. It's okay. I'm a big boy. I can take it. Just make sure to counter that when I do something good. Tell me I did something good. You can get them all right. No worries. All good. Thank you. I appreciate that, Mario. All right. That wraps up the Catalyst Watch video for this week. If you found this video helpful, informative, actionable, then click the like button, share this video so we can all find financial freedom, and click the first link in the description to support our research, analysis, and technical breakdowns by becoming a Patreon member today. Now, I did update Patreon this weekend. So some of the things I've been talking about that we were going to start doing are now in the Patreon tiers. I added the buy sell alerts for Bitcoin and Ethereum. I added my buy sell alerts for stocks. I added stock analysis on special stocks that come out with earnings and so forth. Much like when I give my investment thesis update during the live show every day, when I'm talking about different stocks in a more of a deep dive type of manner, I'm sharing that information with Patreon members before I share it live and put it out there on YouTube. So they get it first. What else did I add? I added the weekly trade setup, which I'm expecting to do more than just once a week. I want to do like at least 3 every week, maybe more on bullish weeks. So that's on there. I also added trade ideas, which that'll be sent out where maybe there's a certain sector that's moving, and I'll give you 4 or 5 different companies that are moving within the sector, just so you can have that information and do with it what you wish. So I did update those this weekend, and everything that are in the different tiers, they are active and they are live, and they will be going out starting tomorrow on Monday. Of course, I already did the very first trade setup last week, which didn't go so well because the market turned. So again, Patreon members hold me accountable, just like everyone else here on YouTube does that as well. Okay. That is, oh, one more thing to mention, and that is every day the market is open. I'm here for the after hour show starting at 5 p.m. Eastern. I'm always a couple minutes late, sometimes 5 minutes late. I don't know why. When I start earlier, I still end up a few minutes late. I don't know if it's the nerves that are getting me or what it is, but I got to do better at that. I got to do better. So I'm working to do better with that. But 5 p.m. Eastern, and we talk about what moved the markets that day. We talk about different stocks, different cryptos, mainly Bitcoin and Ethereum. But most importantly, we talk about what's on your mind. So if you have a request, then you just put it in the comments and we talk about it. Relax, you're doing a good job. Thank you again. I appreciate that. Really, I do. Okay, so that wraps it up for today. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and I hope you all do well in the markets this week. I will see you tomorrow after the markets close, 5 p.m. Eastern, for the after hours show. And that's it. That'll wrap it up for tonight. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I greatly appreciate your support and you being here. And that's it. Have a good night. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.